Alright, Shalom, Shalom to the nation of Israel. Shalom. Alright, this is your brother Kazaki out of Great Millstone, New Orleans, coming at you in another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah, right? But prior to getting started, we want to give all infinite honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim Harakha Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who really teach well. Peace, blessings, and salutations be to the whole elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, alright? And the title of today's lesson is going to be The Patriot Games Will Be the Hunger Games, okay? That's the title of today's lesson, is The Patriot Games Will Be the Hunger Games, okay? And this is a beautiful foreshadowing, man. Like, you know, you can't, script it, any better. First and foremost, we're going to give, Yahweh Shema Shai, obviously, the credit, okay, because he's really the author, of all these things, all right? And I'm going to actually get this precept real first, and we'll come back to the one I have that's up on the screen, okay? Let's go get this. Yeah, I start at verse 5. This is Isaiah 45. In verse 5, it says, I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is none else. There is no God beside me. It says, I girded thee, though thou hast not known me. Okay? And it also says that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west, and there is none beside me. I am the Lord, and there is none else. And here's the point, okay? It says, I form the light, all right, and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. Okay, so the Lord, is a balanced power, okay? There's people that's, having joy, while at the same time, someone on a planet, okay, somewhere is having mourning, okay? And the Lord is a just and a balanced God, okay? And I'm going to go back to the scripture that I had. Okay, this is 2 Corinthians 2 and verse 11. It says, lest Satan shall get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, okay? And let's see if we can get that word devices real quick, okay? This is the word devices, the Greek word Strong's G3540, and it says perception, right? That is purpose. So we're not ignorant, right, to the adversary, right? Because that's what the word Satan means. Satan just means adversary, right? So we're not ignorant to the adversary's purpose, man, right? We know what his purpose is, okay? It's a cause, witchcraft. It's the cause, people to fall, okay? It's to trap people, ensnare people, right? Okay? It's to lie, all right? And just continually lie, man. You just caught in a web of lies if you believe in this man's system. And so much to the point where, you'll never get a chance to truly receive the truth, man. Okay? It says mind, thought, intellect, disposition, itself, right? Okay, but it's basically going into his plots, his plans, his schemes, okay? We're not ignorant to the things that he has planned for the people, all right? Because it all makes sense. Now, let's go here. Now, you see I got that already pulled up, but let's go here, okay? Now, this is just typed in on Google, right? Just type Patriot Games Trump, okay? And when you go through these different, even just the headlines, man, it says Trump announces Patriot Games for high school athletes to run in 2026, man. Okay. All right, let's see. There was one I wanted to get. Here it is right here. I'll just click on this one. And this is from Yahoo News. It says Trump announces Patriot games with two competitors from every state and territory. Okay, what we know. All right. And it says, I'll read a little bit of it, but I definitely want to get the background context. All right. Okay. Let me put this real quick. Do not disturb on. All right. This is America's 250th birthday is on July 4th, 2026. And the White House is planning to go all out, okay, to celebrate promoting new national events, such as the Patriots game, that will anchor the year-long festivities. President Trump announced Thursday the launch of Freedom 250, a national nonpartisan organization leading the administration celebration to deliver the most extraordinary commemoration in American history, according to a news release. All right, and wanted to see if I could get to the point here. I'll just go down to this section here. It looks like it starts talking about it. It says many social media users, including Democrats, so this is his own man's people, okay, have compared the Patriot games to the Hunger Games, right? The popular dystopian book series by Suzanne Collins and movie franchise. It says, well, children are selected from across a futuristic nation to fight to the death in a television event. It's worth nothing. It's worth noting that Trump's proposed Patriot games do not actually accept competitors to fight to the death. Okay, but that's ultimately what this is going to be, man. Okay, and we keep warning the people. We keep telling the people of these devil's plans, man. Okay. This is it, man. We're entering to the time that the stage is set. Okay, because ultimately, I'm gonna go and get this, right? Right. This is what they was talking about. Okay, in this movie here, called The Hunger Games, where what, teenagers, was selected from different various probably cities, basically states, around a dystopian, destroyed, futuristic a world, man, where it's they barely had any food, they barely had any water, okay, and they would do just what it says, man. Okay, they would fight to the death. All right, and it's exactly just that. Two people, usually it was a male and a female, supposedly random. Okay, and pretty much, only one could make it, or two could make it from out of the said province, right? Said state or city. Okay. So this is the time that we're in, man. Okay, we're warning the people. All right. Let's go get this real quick. All right. Slack it. All right, bear with me. Type it in real quick. see, it says faithful and then death there. Yeah, I was on the right scripture. Salakia. This is Revelation 2 in verse 10. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Right? Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. Right? And then the devil just means the deceiver, okay, of the earth, man. Okay? In this here context. All right? This is talking about Esau, Edom, the Edomites. Okay? The so-called white man, right? Scriptures tell you that he's going to come down with wrath because he knows that he have but a short time. Okay? And it says that he may be tried. It says, yeah, the devil shall come cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Okay? And what things like this, right? The Hunger Games, basically, or the Patriot Games, which is really the Hunger Games, right? It reminds you of what? Our forefathers, okay? You know, who, you know, certain people, right? Like Daniel, right? He was, you know, cast into the lion's den, right? Okay? You know, these things, you know, like-minded things are coming back, man, right? Because ultimately what they want to do is normalize violence, man. Because here in America, okay, which aka Babylon the Great, you know, violence, you know, is shunned in a way. Okay, now we know we have, you know, the different cultures, but you know, so-called black culture, where they praise, you know, violence, you know, they praise intimacy, you know, sexual intimacy and stuff. Okay, all right, they praise these things. Okay, right? They make it normal. All right. You know, but this here, you know, is nothing more than just the gladiator games all over again. Okay? Right? They want to normalize, you know, execution. Okay? Now let's get let's get this here. This preset. Okay. This is Isaiah 19 and verse 2. Slack, I'll start at verse 1. This is for context purposes. It says, the burden of Egypt, okay, upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. Okay, verse 2, and it says, and I will set Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. You see that? Okay. And this will kind of go back into what? You know, what the title of today's lesson is. The Patriot Games will become the Hunger Games. Okay? Alright? You know? Because the Egyptian versus Egyptian is nothing more than American versus American. Right? Every brother, you know, fight everyone against his own brother, man. Right? And it says city against city, right? A neighbor against neighbor. Okay? Or not they selecting two children or teenagers from out of every province to go up against each other. Okay? And like I said, this is the exactness of what this is. Okay? You know, now at first, they're gonna try to have it, seem harmless, right? They're just gonna be competing against each other doing said sport, okay? Right? Because ultimately, what he wants to do is just normalize the games even being around, man, to the point where you don't even recognize that this is what's about to happen. But like the scriptures say, we understand, what Satan is up to, man. We know his devices. We know his plans, right? It's revealed to us through Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, man. Okay? And and for all those that say that he wouldn't do this is not what it is. You're fear mongering. You're gonna be in for a rude awakening, man. I mean, a real rude awakening. Okay, and people like us, you know what I'm saying? We're not gonna do nothing but just laugh, man. We're gonna laugh you to scorn because we told you, over and over again the same things. The message hasn't changed. Okay. All right, let's get another precept. All right, this is 2nd Esdras 15 and verse 14. Okay, and it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Right? Woe meaning what? Destruction, man. Okay, and it said to the world. All right, because everybody is going to be going through something, man. Okay, the Lord said, I came, basically I come with a sword, man. All right, and not with peace. Okay, and it says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hand. Now, this goes into, basically all hell breaking loose, within society, man. Okay. This is the time that we're coming into. All hell breaking loose. Okay. It says, for there shall be sedition among men. Okay. Basically, the talks, the speaking of uprising, right, against elected officials, right, against the system itself, okay, and invading one another, right, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the courses of their actions shall stand in their power, man, right? So when people see things like this start to happen, right, see if we get another picture, right? And you can see this is I believe this lady's name is Jennifer Lawrence, right? She plays a lady by the name of Katniss. I believe it's Katniss Everdeen or something like that. Okay, and she's supposed to be basically has a good skill set for like hunting and stuff like that, but her being a female going up against champions and all the rest of that kind of stuff, right? Which is basically, we know fantasy, right? Because like I said, this was a novel, this was a book before it was actually a movie, if I'm not mistaken, and there were a lot of spiritual takes, on that, man, that happened within that movie. A lot of foreshadowing, of things to come, man. All right. Right. But the point is, okay, let's see if we can back out there. The point is, when people see that this dystopian future, right? Because, oh, let's see, right? When people are living like this, okay, you know, they're gonna basically, rise up, man. And you saw that the rise up even within the movie, okay? The people were tired of basically the Roman way, the gladiator way, the fight, to the death, so to speak, okay? But right now, what they gotta do is normalize it, right? Normalize violence in the so-called American's eye, okay? To where these games can be put in place to actually come into influition, man. Okay? But let's see, yeah. Alright, I'll read like one or two more verses. We'll close out. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, right? Because we're gonna have what? Different checkpoints, man. Okay? Within these different cities. Okay, so you're not gonna be able to get in to see your relatives, the whatever, say it, family members, okay? Because this devil gonna have everything cut off, okay? And verse 18, it says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, okay? And the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid, man, okay? But ultimately, this is this time right here, okay? This is Jeremiah 30 and verse 7. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. This is all a part of what? JT, man. This is all a part of Jacob's trouble. What Jacob has to look out for. And Jacob is you 12 tribes, black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, man, woman, and child, okay? All right? Right? This is your time of trouble, your time of evil. This is that perilous time. Okay? So if you don't get right with Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, now you're gonna be caught up in one of those so-called Patriot games, right? Which is really gonna be nothing more than just the Hunger Games, man. Right? Or you're gonna be, carted off to these different, sea camps. Okay? Right? The Lord is gonna have that as your lot, man. Your so-called fate. Okay, your so-called destiny. All right. But that's pretty much all I have through the spirit and power, Yahweh Shemal Shai. Okay, Lord willing. Okay, this lesson was edifying, first and foremost, to the hopeful elect. But prior to getting out of here, I want to give all infinite honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Harakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone, who rule and teach well. Peace, blessings, and salutations be to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, all right? Kwam Yasha Allah, Ababa Ball, Shalom.